I finally finished building my Neuvillette, and boy oh boy, he can do some pretty crazy damage. And if I dare say, Neuvillette might be the strongest free-to-play character up until now, and today we will be discussing how to build the best free-to-play Neuvillette. So let's get started. Neuvillette's main source of damage is his charge attack, Equitable Judgment, which shoots a huge laser beam of water, and it does damage based on Neuvillette's max HP. But his charge attack takes a lot of time to charge up. This is where his elemental skill and elemental burst comes into play. After using Neuvillette's elemental skill, he will generate 3 source water droplets, and while charging up his charge attack, Neuvillette will absorb source water droplets around him, and every droplet he absorbs will increase the charging rate of his charge attack and will also heal Neuvillette. You need 3 source water droplets to instantly charge up his charge attack and fire off his huge laser. So his elemental skill generates 3 source water droplets after his skill hits the enemy, and his elemental burst will generate 6 source water droplets. Source water droplets will stay on the field for 15 seconds. So the best rotation for Neuvillette's charge attack will be using his elemental skill followed by his elemental burst, and this way you will have 9 source water droplets and you can fire off 3 charge attack. Neuvillette's passive talents also contribute a ton to his overall damage. His first passive talent, Heir to the Ancient Seas Authority. When a party member triggers Vaporize, Frozen, Electrocharge, Bloom, Hydroswirl, or a Hydrocrystallize reaction, 1 stack of past Draconic Glories will be granted to Neuvillette for 30 seconds with a maximum of 3 stacks. Past Draconic Glories causes Neuvillette's charge attack, Equitable Judgment, to deal 110% or 125% or 160% of its original damage. You can get 60% more charge attack damage just by triggering 3 electro-related reactions, but one type of reaction will count only once, meaning that if you triggered one Vaporize reaction, it will only count once. If you trigger another Vaporize, you will not gain 2 stacks. You will need to trigger 3 different reactions to get 3 stacks. And his second passive, Discipline of the Supreme Arbitration. For each 1% of Neuvillette's current HP greater than 30% of max HP, he will gain 0.6% hydro damage bonus. A maximum bonus of 30% can be obtained this way. So if your max HP is above 80%, you will get the maximum 30% hydro damage bonus. But when using Neuvillette's charge attack, he will drain 8% of his max HP every 0.5 seconds. So after 1.5 seconds, you will see a drop on his damage output because of the HP loss. All of Neuvillette's talents are there to support his charge attack, so obviously you should prioritize leveling up his normal attacks first as high as you can, and then focus on his elemental skill and elemental burst. The level of his elemental skill and burst do not increase the number of source water droplets he generates. For Neuvillette's weapon options, his signature catalyst, Tome of the Eternal Flow, is his best in slot weapon. Tome of Eternal Flow at R1 is better than every other weapon choice for him. This weapon gives Neuvillette everything he needs: a ton of crit damage, max HP increase, charge attack damage increase, and a little bit of energy. Tome of the Eternal Flow is the best choice for Neuvillette. This is better than all the other catalysts available in the game, so I will strongly recommend you, if you want to min-max your Neuvillette build, you should consider going for this weapon. As for the other 5-star options, Kagura's Verity can be a good option, mainly because of the crit damage it provides, and the passive is also pretty good, but it will be pretty difficult to get more than 1 stack, which will decrease the overall value of this weapon. And if you by any chance for any godforsaken reason have the Everlasting Moonglow, you can give it to him for that huge 49.6% HP, and the passive is completely useless on him. Same with the Jadefall Splendor, if you have it, you can give it to him for that huge HP bonus. And this weapon's passive can be helpful for Neuvillette to regenerate his energy and give him a little bit of elemental damage bonus. And lastly, Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds can be a decent option if you don't have any other good catalyst. It has a good amount of crit rate, and the passive increases elemental damage bonus every 4 seconds when the user is on the field with a max of 4 stacks. So you will have at least 1 or 2 stacks until Neuvillette leaves the field. So this can be a good option if you don't have any other options. The best 4-star weapon for Neuvillette is a free-to-play weapon, being the Prototype Amber. Prototype Amber has HP percent as its second stat, and the passive is also quite decent. Using an elemental burst regenerates certain amount of HP every 2 seconds for 6 seconds, and all party members will also regenerate certain percentage of HP every 2 seconds for this duration. So this weapon from a free-to-play standpoint is hands down the best weapon for Neuvillette, mainly because of the HP percent. Passive is also quality of life. You have to worry less about his energy and elemental burst. If you are a free-to-play player, go for Prototype Amber. It is hands down the best 4-star option for him. The Battle Pass weapon, Sacrificial Jade. This is similar to Prototype Amber or maybe slightly better. It has a good amount of crit rate, and the passive is when not on the field for more than 5 seconds, max HP will be increased by 32% and elemental mastery will be increased by 40%. And this effect will be cancelled after the wielder has been on the field for 10 seconds. If you can keep this buff up consistently, then you can have a pretty good damage output. And the last 4-star weapon is the Widsith. Widsith has a good amount of crit damage, and 2 out of the 3 buffs of the passive is completely wasted on Neuvillette. It doesn't need attack, it doesn't need elemental mastery, only the elemental damage bonus is useful on him. Then again, this buff can only occur every 30 seconds, and the main part, getting a buff, is completely random. Still, if you don't have any other options, you can give it to him for that crit damage. And lastly, if you don't have any of the weapons, or maybe you are a beginner, you can give him the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer. It also has a good amount of HP percent, and the passive can also be good if you are running a sub DPS like Fischl. So the passive is not completely wasted, but you have to remember you have to switch to that character for them to get this buff. Now for his artifact choice. The best in slot artifact set is the Merchausi Hunter 4-piece set. This set increases normal and charge attack damage, and when HP increases or decreases, crit rate will be increased by 12% with a maximum of 3 stacks, and Nivellet's charge attack drains his HP. You will get 36% crit rate just by doing his charge attack, which is huge when building him. You can stack as much crit damage as you can on him, but aim for at least 40 to 45% crit rate on him so that you can crit pretty consistently. Another good set for him is the 4-piece Heart of Depth. 2-piece set increases hydro damage bonus, and 4-piece set increases normal and charge attack damage by 30% for 15 seconds after using his elemental skill. So you can also keep this buff up all the time, and you might have this set already if you are a long time player. And the last 4-piece set will be the Wanderer's Troop. 2-piece set increases elemental mastery by 80, and the 4-piece set increases charge attack damage by 35% if the character uses a bow or a catalyst. This set can be a decent option if you don't have the other sets. This set in comparison to the other sets will do less damage, and if you don't have any of the full sets, you can give him 2-piece HP percent and 2-piece hydro damage bonus or the 2-piece Merchausi Hunter. Those will also work, but I highly recommend getting a 4-piece Merchausi Hunter set for him. Now for the artifact stats themselves, Neuvillette is a HP scaling character, so HP percent stands for the Goblet, hydro damage bonus, and for the Circlet. If you are using the Merchausi Hunter set, you should definitely go for the crit damage Circlet, but if you are running other sets or the 2-piece sets, you will go for either crit rate or crit damage depending on your build and stats. And for the substats, prioritize crit rate and crit damage, then HP percent, and then a little bit of energy recharge. Lastly, I will talk a little bit about his team compositions. To fully utilize Neuvillette's first passive talent, you will need to run him with characters of 3 different elements. So the best team that I will recommend you is Neuvillette, Zhongli, Kazuha, and a 4th sub DPS character like Xiangling or Beidou. This team has 3 different elements which will give you the max stacks of his past draconic glories, and with Zhongli's shield, you don't have to worry about getting interrupted when using his charge attack, and the sub DPS character will provide a little bit extra damage. So there you have it, how to build the ultimate Neuvillette. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, like and subscribe, and watch how to build the best pyro DPS Hu Tao by clicking here.